Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hitman with another episode of Star Citizen Walk Around. Today we're going to be looking at the Tumbril Cyclone, or the Tumbril Cyclone. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but this is actually the second of two cyclones that they have in Star Citizen. The first one's actually going to be the Ursa rover that they've had in the past. We'll look at that one in another video. This one here is going to be the Cyclone. Now, the Cyclone is more of a speedy exploration kind of cyclone or rover. If you look at the wheels actually have almost like it's a pretty cool look to it. It's kind of like gears, and the motors, spin the gears, and that's how the wheel is run. It's almost like just a gigantic wheel hub assembly in a way. It's just turned by the gear instead of having all the wheels around it and everything. Of course, each wheel does have the suspension, control arms, and the whole ordeal for each wheel. I mean, the amount of detail is pretty ridiculous, and I can't say that enough in everything that we look at. You do have the lights in the front, right there on the sides, and I think right up there on the top. Let's go ahead and run around over here. Obviously, this is the passenger seat with a little step. You can kind of see the interior. Again, it is smoking and shooting sparks. This is just something that happens when you spawn it here in the hangar. Things do change. Whenever you go to pull into the actual world, it won't do that, but it will take damage if you hit things or get hit, get shot, or whatever. But I'm just kind of doing kind of a small little walk around, just look at the details of the ship, or of the rover. If you notice, it's got the numbers going along the hoses. Going to look around. Again, you do have the suspension back here in the back. That's kind of attached. You do have the backup lights, the control panel here, and that's actually for the little ramp. I'll go ahead and open it up for you. And the ramp opens up, so I guess you can put cargo in here. There is, I think, 2 units of cargo that you can put in here, and transport on land, obviously. Go ahead and close it back up. There is, like I said, I think 4 different variances of this rover. One of them, this is the basic model here, but other variances have a gun up top that you can use. A passenger can actually control the gun and shoot. So if you actually come across anything out in the world, which later on in the game they will be coming out with like animals and stuff that's out there that'll attack you, that you're going to have to defend yourself against. Now, if you notice, that wheel is in the ground. Whenever you spawn it in the hangar, it kind of does spawn it in the ground a little bit, but whenever you get in, it kind of pops it out of the ground and it rides normal. Now, normal is used lightly. And the reason I say that is because right now, if I was to jump in it and I was to use it, and I don't know if it's because I've got it in the hangar or if it's because it's taken some damage according to this, but if I was to get into it, it'll start bouncing and just going nuts. Now let's go ahead and go in the passenger seat here. We'll look at this first here. So go ahead and enter the passenger seat, slide right in there, and we'll look at how many buttons we can look at. Looks like it's only one button here on the passenger side, and that's the power button, which is right there. Power it on. The passenger, because this is the base model, doesn't have much to look at. I mean, just like most of the ships, you do have your power sequences here that you can change, I guess. And over here, you have the shields, if it had shields. Not sure if the Cyclone has them yet. Now, let's go and move back over here. You do have the menu system that you can mess with, your comms, your heat, power, weapons, and shields. Now, again, different variances will have different things. Might have added shields, added weapons, stuff like that. But this is the base model, just because that's, I think, the only one that's available right now is the base model. So let me go ahead and jump back out of here. And I'll go ahead and run around to the driver's side. And we'll go ahead and jump in here. Now once I jump into the driver's side, this thing's gonna start bouncing a little bit. Now the rover doesn't like always do that. It just does that here, in here. I don't know again if it's taking damage or whatever. Now there is a button here that you can mess with, and it looks like a button here, and that's actually the one that's taking a bit of damage. Engine on and engine off. So not sure how that's going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just engage the systems, which actually powers on and does the engine.
System check.
Now again, I have the same type of look over here for the shields that I can actually change if I want. I've got the menu over here that I can mess with. So I mean, this can be run solely unless you have the gun in the back on the top. Now I do have it powered up. This is fairly quick rover. It does pick up and take off quickly. It also turns very, very fast. Now just to kind of show you, I'm actually going to get in the third person view and do this. Obviously the slower you go, the less it turns, but I mean, as you can tell, it does turn very sharp. And the reasoning for that is because it's not just front wheel steering, it's front and rear wheel steering. If you notice, while I'm sitting here turning the front wheels, the back wheels are turned as well. Not as much as the front, but they are turned a little bit. That actually helps it turn on a dime. So like if you're barreling through, on a planet and you see a rock, sit there and turn very quickly to get away from the rock or get around things, or, well, me, you kind of steer into a rock and take some damage. But anyways, as you can tell, that thing's sitting there bouncing like crazy. And as I say that, it looks like, oh, it did settle down for a little bit, but it is kind of bouncing now. But that right there is actually kind of a little walkthrough on the Cyclone. Again, there are other variances. Not sure if they're available yet, but this is the base model. The suspension on it is actually pretty good. Obviously, independent suspension on all four wheels. And with the steering on all four, it actually makes it a bit more maneuverable. I would highly recommend it. I myself are more into cars, so I just, as soon as I saw that this would come available, I went ahead and got it. And I hope that this actually would get you guys into thinking about wanting to get a rover as well. So until the next video, you guys have a great day. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go and hit that like button, hit a comment, so go and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.